Hey, what's going on, guys? OJ back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the biggest phonies here in the UFC. And before you ask, I'm not going to be covering all-time fighters. Rather, I'm just going to be covering fighters that are specifically on the roster right now. So I'm not going to refer back to like 1997, where fucking Rampage Jackson or some other Pride era guy did some phony shit. But I'm gonna be covering one fighter on the current roster for every single male division, starting from the flyweight to the heavyweight division, and just explain why they're such phonies and fakes. But regardless, I think I've wasted enough of your time, so let's jump right into the video. Our first fighter on the list, we got Amir Albazi. Now, this guy he actually fooled people into believing he's a legitimate top five contender here in the flyweight division. This guy, I don't think has won a legitimate fight against anyone within the rankings of the flyweight division. Like his best win is against Alexandro Costa, who who's not even ranked at this point. And he clearly lost to Kaikar France, but for some reason the judges gave it to Amir Albazi. Then he took a 2 year layoff to fight Brandon Moreno, and then Brandon Moreno just pieced him up 5-0, and that was a very underwhelming performance from Amir Albazi. And now he's getting to fight another top five contender in Tatsuro Taira. For some reason, Amir Albazi is not out of the top 10 of the flyweight rankings at this point. I'm genuinely shocked as to why that is, even though I know that he hasn't fought in over what 2 years since his Moreno fight. But either way, it's clear that Amir Albazi scammed fans into believing he's a legitimate contender, and I don't know. That's why he's on this video because he should not be in the rankings of the flyweight division. Now up next, we got Henry Cejudo. Hey, listen, guys. I really got hurt by Sang Yadong. He was using his Wong Tong fingers to uh clean the eye, and I couldn't see, man. Oh yeah, Henry Cejudo. Like I get that Song Yadong poked him in the eye, yes. But the thing is, Cejudo, right after the eye poke, he took the 5 minutes, then he started fighting again, and then right after he tried to get a DQ win off Song Yadong. I I don't know why Henry Cejudo bothered to even fight the rest of the third round if that were the case. I thought he was trying to milk some no contest win. Thankfully, the UFC didn't even try that because sometimes the UFC does allow that for certain fighters, which I'll get to later in this video. Henry Cejudo, uh, people were even saying that he's gonna be like top 10 all time if he didn't stay and fight like Aljamain Sterling, Murad Dvalishvili, and then Song Yadong. Unfortunately, Henry Cejudo kind of just ruined his legacy in a way. Like if he retired right when he won the bantamweight championship, I think there still be people who would put this guy in the top 10. But he's now coming off 3 losses in a row. And I get that he's older and he's not in his prime, but at the same time, like he's pulling stunts like this in the Song Yadong fight. So I don't know. Like you can hate on me all you want if you guys disagree with that, but I just thought it was very shady the way Henry Cejudo acted during the final sequence of his fight with Song Yadong. Now up next, we got the OG of the phony fraud Oscar winning performance, Aljamain Sterling. Now, he hasn't done anything in the featherweight division, but at bantamweight, I really remember when this guy took a knee from Peter Yan and then basically said that he's no longer able to continue. Like if you had the context to this, yes, Peter Yan did throw the illegal knee, but at the same time, Yan was whooping Aljamain Sterling's ass for like 3 or 4 rounds of the fight. And Aljamain Sterling needed a finish to get the job done. And late in the fourth round, Aljamain Sterling's on his knees before Peter Yan said fuck it and threw the knee. Unfortunately, Aljamain Sterling then became the bantamweight champion off getting knee to the face. I have no idea how that's even possible, but I guess the UFC just gave the belt to Aljamain Sterling for some reason. But Peter Yan, like he was clearly the better fighter for that fight specifically. I know they had the rematch a year later where Aljamain Sterling definitively won the first 3 rounds, but that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. And I'm sure a lot of Peter Yan fans still feel the same way. I kind of feel that Aljamain Sterling has since then removed himself from that incident because he's went on to have very fun scraps with Movsar Evloyev, uh, Deshaun O'Malley, even though he kind of lost, and Henry Cejudo, which it was a pretty entertaining fight considering Sterling's average performances. But overall, I think there's no one else in the featherweight division I would consider a phony. So I guess Aljamain Sterling's here just because he kind of milked the Peter Yan knee and ultimately won the belt off a DQ. All right, moving on, we got Michael Chandler, Mr. See You at the Top, and Mr. Conor McGregor. I got one dude on my mind. Yeah, Michael Chandler. He's just a fake person. Like you can hear that from all the fighters in the lightweight division. They hate Michael Chandler, and it's not for no reason. Like Michael Chandler is the type of guy to like preach like God quotes, like how oh God's always on my side, and like I'm living my life as a Christian man. And then you see this guy just cheating every single minute whenever like he's losing a fight. It happened in the Charles Oliveira fight the second time. It happened in the Dustin Poirier fight. It happened in the Justin Gaethje fight. Like Michael Chandler is a secret scumbag, and that's why I call him a fake and a phony because Michael Chandler online presents himself as a good Christian man who always follows the rules and abides by God. When you see him fight in the cage, none of those characters translate, and it's kind of clear that Michael Chandler is just using the holier than thou personality as more of a tool to sell his fights rather than that being his genuine person. I guess the only redeeming thing about Michael Chandler is the fact that he has fun fights, but I don't really see why people like Chandler otherwise. And it's clear that Michael Chandler, although he's a fun fighter, although he's like what still a great fighter, he's kind of fake, and that's why he's in this video. Now, moving on to the welterweight division, we got Ian Machado Gary. Now, I could have included a lot of guys in this list. We could have had Kamar Usman for faking nut shots on the regular and faking fouls. We could have had Leon Edwards over here, but I chose Ian Machado Gary simply because he outright lies about how his fights go out. Now, I don't mind if someone's trying to sell the fight and say, "Oh, I'm gonna destroy this guy. Oh, I'm gonna like fucking expose him. I'm gonna fucking knock him out in the first round." Like, I don't mind all that. Like, a lot of fighters do it, but Ian Gary does this thing where like the fight already happens, and he's using that fight to try and promote himself as an exciting fighter. Like, take for example the MVP fight. Ian Gary is out here claiming that he wobbled MVP in the second round and had his neck flying backwards. Ian Gary did not do that. Ian Gary won that fight primarily using his grappling and just controlling MVP on the ground. Uh, Ian Gary, however, did not do any of the striking whatsoever. If anything, in the second round, Ian Gary was getting the boxes bled off him because MVP just almost dropped him and wobbled him at some points. But yeah, Ian Gary, I don't really like him. I think that's pretty clear based on this video and from past videos. But yeah, the reason I include him in this list is because he tries to promote himself as an exciting fighter when it's clear to anyone with eyes that he really isn't. Now up next, we got Cody Brundage. Now this guy took what Aljamain Sterling did with the knee and took it to Mach 3 because Cody Brundage, he's had three fights now where they ended in some sort of controversial decision. Like his first fight with Jacob Malkoun, he won off a DQ win against Jacob Malkoun because Jacob Malkoun he was beating him throughout the fight. It's just that Malkoun decided to rain elbows to the back of the head, and Brundage just curled up and said, "Oh, I can't continue." He then fought Abdul Razak Al Hassan, where about like a minute into the fight, Cody Brundage shot in for a takedown, and Abdul Razak Al Hassan just started raining down shots to the side and back of the head, and then Cody Brundage like, no, I can't continue. I don't know. Like he's done this a lot. That's why I don't really give him the benefit of the doubt. And then he fought Mansur Abdul Malik at UFC Atlanta yesterday, and Cody Brundage. I know it was a head clash, but let's be real. Cody Brundage kind of felt that he was about to get destroyed if Mansur Abdul Malik was able to continue landing the shots. I just find Cody Brundage to be kind of an actor at this point rather than a fighter. And Cody Brundage, simply put, other than when he's fighting Julian Marquez, I consider him kind of a fraud. Now, moving on to the light heavyweight division, we got Rodolfo Bellato, Mr. Herpes over here. He basically pulled out of his fight with Paul Craig. I have no idea how to explain this. If you guys didn't see this fight yesterday, basically Paul Craig at the end of the first round, upkicked Rodolfo Bellato, and you could see Bellato complaining to the ref because in the UFC you're not allowed to kick someone when the opponent is grounded, meaning that anything past just putting one hand on the ground. And for some reason, Rodolfo Bellato was fully conscious and able to express, some sort of anger towards the ref. Like they should have called it a foul. But then right after, Rodolfo Bellato, he fully went unconscious right after that. And then all of a sudden, he's like acting as if uh Paul Craig is still there some reason. Like he tried to leg lock the referee. That was a very awkward scene. The thing is, I don't understand why you would do that against Paul Craig. Like Paul Craig is not dangerous unless you jump into his guard like a retard. And to be fair, that's what Rodolfo Bellato did. So I guess Rodolfo Bellato didn't really consider himself skilled enough to beat Paul Craig, which is kind of sad. But I don't know. I guess I don't know what your guys' opinions on this were, but I don't know. It was a very weird situation, and I think Rodolfo Bellato was probably faking it. Now, last but not least, we go to the heavyweight division. John Bones Jones. This needs no explanation whatsoever. Back in the day, and this was way before I was watching UFC fights. Uh, DC versus John Jones, the first fight. Like people were booing DC as DC was calling him fake and phony. Like I don't know why people were doing that back then, but that quote has aged incredibly well because since then, John Jones, although he claims to be a bad guy trying to do good, all he does is pop for steroids, beat women up uh, repeatedly just ducks Aspinall and other heavyweights or like challenges that can pose a threat to him. Like John Jones over here, I think anyone who actually like has no bias for Jones can see that John Jones is not a great person to follow. He's not a great person to watch. And it's not and this is the thing. If his fights for fun, I would say that it's completely justified. But John Jones has somehow convinced so many people that he is must-see TV. Let me tell you this. Maybe that was the case back in the early 2010s, but since 2020, which is around the time I started watching, John Jones has yet to produce any exciting performance outside of his fight with Stipe Miocic, and the Stipe Miocic fight was against a 43-year-old fireman who didn't train martial arts for 4 years. I don't want to see any comments about how John Jones is still must see TV. Like he went to a decision with Dominic Reyes, and fine. I found it entertaining that John Jones was getting his ass beat, but it wasn't like John Jones was doing anything that made me go, "Oh shit, he's fun to watch." And then he fought Cyril Gahn. Rather than me feeling that John Jones like put on an exciting performance, I thought that Cyril Gahn would just look completely shit. And right after that, Stipe Miocic, again, 43-year-old fireman, didn't train MMA for 4 years. And last fight got knocked out by Francis Ngannou. So I want to say for John Jones especially, uh, he's fake. He is a complete fraud. He should have vacated the belt a long time ago, and Tom Aspinall should be the lineal heavyweight champion. Unfortunately, that's not reality right now, and I don't know what Dana White's doing at this point, but it's clear that John Jones is not going to fight, and that's why we need to strip him of the heavyweight title. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Leave a comment down below if I missed any fighter that you would consider a complete phony, a fraud, or a fake. But other than that, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below on what video idea you want to see me make next. And yeah, other than that, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.